Good day, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about the types of communication. Firstly, what is a communication? Communication is the act of conveying meanings from one entity or group to another through the use of mutually understood signs, symbols, and semiotic rules.
Communication is simply the act of transferring information from one place, person, or group to another.
According to Person and Nelson, communication is defined as the process of understanding and sharing meanings. It's the way of how people communicate with each other, and that's what we call interpersonal communication.
Also, communication refers to talking to oneself or what we call intrapersonal communication.
In every communication, it involves one sender, one message, and a receiver.
Communication, it is a very complex subject. It is an act of transferring information from one place, person, to another.
Communication as a term takes on different contexts, resulting in people having different views on communication types.
Communication is generally defined as the exchange of thoughts, ideas, contexts, and views between or among two or more people. Various contexts come into play.
Effective communication is about more than just exchanging information. It's about understanding the emotion and intentions behind that information, as well as being able to clearly convey a message. But you need also to listen in a way that you will be able to gain the full meaning of what is being said and what makes the other person feel heard and understood.
Learning the skills of communications can deepen your connections to others, can build greater trust, respect, and also improve teamwork.
Context is a circumstance or environment in which communication takes place. The words that are used in a certain word or phrase explains its meaning.
Indeed, it helps establish meanings and influence what is said and how it is said.
Such circumstances may include the physical or actual setting, the value position of the speaker or the listener, and the relevance or appropriateness of the message conveyed.
It focuses on a certain communication processes and even groupings of people that constitute as communication situation.
Context is made up of parts of communication that they influence the meaning of the message. It also influences on communication process. It can overlap, can create an even more dynamic process.
Different contexts that impact one's communication. Each communication is governed by particular circumstance.
It is essential to pay attention to the interplay of factors surrounding the context of communication, which may be physical, cultural, social, and psychological in nature.
Communication may then be classified according to first, communication mood, second, context, third, purpose, and style.
A message may be conveyed via these types: verbal, nonverbal, and visual communication. As a student nurse, we use verbal communication to interact with patients, families, and colleagues. Clear, compassionate language helps patients feel comfortable and informed. This is vital in explaining procedures, gathering patient histories, and providing instructions.
When we talk to others, we assume that others understand what we are saying because we know what we are saying. But this is not the case. Usually people bring their own attitude, perceptions, emotions, and thoughts about the topic, and hence creates barrier in delivering the right meaning.
So in order to deliver the right message, you must put yourself on the other side of the table and think from your receiver's point of view. Would they understand the message? How would it sound on the other side of the table?
Oral communication. Oral communication
spoken words are used. It includes face-to-face conversations, speech, telephonic conversation, video, and radio. Also, communication is influenced by pitch, volume, speed, and clarity of speaking.
Written communication. Documentation is a critical part of nursing. Accurate written communication ensures continuity of care and helps avoid errors. From charting patient vitals to updating care plans, written records keep everyone on the same page and support legal accountability.
Much of nursing communication is nonverbal, such as facial expressions, body language, and eye contact. Nurses use nonverbal cues to convey empathy, build trust, and understand patients' unspoken concerns, which is essential in cases where patients may not express pain or discomfort verbally.
Types of nonverbal communication: eye contact, facial expression, gestures, posture and body orientation, body language, space, distance or proximity, paralinguistic, humor, touch, silence, personal appearance, symbol, and visual communication.
When communication occurs by means of any visual aids, it is known as visual communication.
Visual communication, on the other hand, is a type of communication that uses visuals to convey information or messages.
Examples are signs, symbols, imagery, maps, graphs, charts, diagrams, photographs, photos, drawings, illustrations, and even various forms of electronics communication.
Electronic communication symbols or images are the emojis, emoticons, and animation, among others, to convey the writer's emotions or clarify the intent of the sender's message.
Verbal and nonverbal codes should complement each other. With visual communication, interpretation of signs and symbols is crucial since people have different ways of interpreting them. It is important to always contextualize the symbols or signs received in order to arrive at a correct interpretation.
Communication may also be classified according to context: intrapersonal, interpersonal, extended, organizational communication, and intercultural communication. Intrapersonal communication. The Latin word intra means within or inside. Intrapersonal communication then means talking to oneself. Some label it as self or inner talk, inner monologue, or inner dialogue. Psychologists call it with other names such as self-verbalization or self-statement. Self-talk can be advantageous as it can enable you to practice what you ought to say in times when you lack the motivation and confidence to speak.
Interpersonal communication. The Latin prefix inter means between, among, and together. An active exchange takes place as interpersonal communication takes place. This may occur in dyads or small groups, also known as group communication. Interpersonal talks are meant for maintaining social relationships. Transactional talks aims to accomplish or resolve something at the end of the conversation.
Extended communication involves the use of electronic media. With the use of digital health records, nurses use electronic communications to document, share, and access patients' information. These ensure efficient, organized, and real-time communication across multidisciplinary teams, which is crucial in today's fast-paced healthcare environment.
Intercultural communication. It is a communication between or among people having different linguistics, religious, ethnic, social, and professional backgrounds. Even gender difference affects communication. Individuals having different orientations communicate and interpret messages differently. This particularly happens with nonverbal communication.
People have different linguistic, religious, ethnic, social, and professional backgrounds. As a nursing student, it is necessary to pay attention to intercultural communication to avoid miscommunication and/or communication breakdown.
Types of communication according to purpose and style. Formal communication employs formal language delivered orally or in written. Lectures, public talks, speeches, research, project proposals, reports, and business letters, among others, are considered formal situations and writings.
Delivered orally, the text had been thought out carefully and written well before they are delivered. The main objectives of this type of communication is to inform, to entertain, and to persuade.
Informal communication certainly does not employ formal language. It involves personal and ordinary conversations with friends, family members, or acquaintances about anything under the sun.
The mode may be oral as in face-to-face, ordinary or everyday talks and phone calls, or written as in the case of email messages, personal notes, letters, or text messages. The purpose is simply to socialize and enhance relationships. Formal and informal communication have different uses depending on the situations. Both types may be in oral and written mode.